What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Our sweet little gentle fantasy football angels. Come on in. Welcome in. It is Wednesday. All right. If you put a start sit question in the chat yesterday, Howard Bender probably would have ripped your face off. In fact, somebody was scolded. But today your face is safe. You can put any start sit questions in the chat that you want. And if you have lingering waiver questions or anything like that, feel free to throw those out. Ad drops, whatever. Today is your show. Today's your show to put whatever you want. We already see people pop it in. AA has a question. The first question we will get to eventually. And Rex Timothy is hanging out, and Dunn in the house. Rod Elliott, the gang is all here. So we're going to get to start sits. We're going to definitely hit on Thursday preview. We're definitely going to hit on some matchups we love, some guys that are must starts. And we'll definitely do some must starts and sits because sometimes you just need that to jar you a little bit. You need to hear somebody say, hey, wow, this guy's a must sit. I was going to start him. And then now all of a sudden you do have a question. But before we get to any of that, Howard, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing real well, Coop. I've been at it and crazy and busy and posting videos and I'm TikToking it now and I'm like feeling good about that. But most importantly, Coop, yesterday was all about listen, I pumped out a bunch of content and then basically spent the hour leading up to the Fantasy Alarm Show on SiriusXM and the subsequent 3.5 hours afterwards going through all my waiver wire, all my leagues.
For 1,000 leagues.
103 leagues, dude. That is a lot. And so sorting out like what's a Tuesday night waiver league, what's a Wednesday night waiver wire league. And so I got through everything that was for Tuesday night. The bulk of it all is Wednesday night waivers. So, right after this show, there's a good chance that I will be just lost in the waiver wire pool. Although I got to be honest with you, Coop, in all the leagues that I'm in, they're all highly competitive. Great opposition. There's really not a whole lot popping on the waiver wire right now because a lot of the guys who, we've talked about, who we want, who are in a stash, they've already been drafted.
Yeah, I thought about that too when I was going through. I do have some, kind of like hometown leagues, some family leagues. I'm in one 10-man league. And in those leagues, there were some of those like real good players. I added Brandon Cooks in the league, right? So that felt pretty good. But yeah, I'm with you. For the most part, I didn't use any priority. I didn't really use a lot of fab. I added Alexander Madison in a spot where I'm kind of doing a zero RB thing. And then, of course, the tight end roulette continues where we're kind of doing the yin and yang. I dropped Juwan Johnson and picked up Hayden Hurst, but I mean, we're just fishing. We're fishing.
Why'd you drop Juwan Johnson? I'm seeing Foster Moreau questionable, could be out for this week.
Foster Moreau, the thing with Foster Moreau is that he played like 50 snaps, but he only ran 13 routes. He blocked on 6 pass plays. That role that he was playing I'm just not sure Juwan Johnson's role jumps as much. I think it is Chris Olave and it's Rashid Shaheed and it's Alvin Kamara, and then everybody else is just kind of floating around. So I don't know. Hayden Hurst ran 84% of his routes from a wide receiver spot. He was up towards the top of that team in routes run, which is nice. So yeah, Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, not giving up on those guys yet. Greg Dulcich, kind of floating around. But anyway, this is the waiver show. This is a show for the people. This is a show for start sits, a show for trades. So why don't we clear the deck on a couple questions that we have in there right now, and then we'll talk about Thursday. What do you think about that, Howard?
I think that sounds like a fantastic idea. I already see the chats bumping. A lot of people in there. Shout out to Annie Coop, who's complimenting the man cave already. Thank you, Annie Coop.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good, man. So, okay, here we go. AA, first one in the chat. The moment the show started, that's how you get your question answered right away. He says, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields. Should I drop one of them for Brandon Cooks? My wide receivers are Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, Rashid Shaheed. First of all, I love that team. Second of all, single QB league, Howard. Do you need to have Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, and Justin Fields? The Jordan Love injury is kind of throws a damper on that, but I'll drop Fields, right?
See, and that's probably where I'm at also. You lose Jordan Love. What you want to do is you want to get a guy who's just serviceable. Fields, we don't know what's going to happen with Russell Wilson. I know he's banged up and we're still waiting to see what happens with him. It's not like Fields had a great game in week 1. Now, okay, fine. He was working behind Russell Wilson throughout the majority of camp, but everybody just loves that rushing upside, and that's really what everybody's kind of eyeballing right now. I think if you're just looking for a serviceable quarterback, Baker Mayfield is 100% fine. Liam Cohen says that he wants to do more throwing. We saw that beautifully in the red zone in week 1. So, Baker's going to have his ups and downs. Fields is going to have his ups and downs. I feel more secure having Baker Mayfield in there because ain't nobody looking over his shoulder.
Exactly. And I mean, Baker, like, good matchup week 1 with Washington. Guess what? Next matchups, Detroit, Denver, Philly, Atlanta. I don't see why they have any reason to stop chucking, right? Like, things are looking pretty good for Baker. So I'm in on that. We got the Dino Fontaine in here. Dino, I feel like I haven't seen Dino since. No, he's been in here this offseason a little bit. What's up, Dino? We got Jeff Wilson, Deontay Johnson, or Lad McConkey in PPR this week. Bender.
Oh, yeah, all right. So Raheem Mostert immediately ruled out for Thursday Night Football. We heard that from Mike McDaniel actually earlier this morning. So Jeff Wilson, I mean, here's the thing. Devon Achane banged up with an ankle injury. He's questionable as well. You've got Jalen Wright, who's a great stash. He's nice and explosive off the line. He can be patient running behind the fullback. We've seen Alec Ingold, working it for Miami. Jeff Wilson, I think, is a good, solid guy. He's more of a short yardage fella, like he's going to be the guy.
He's Gus Edwards. He's Gus.
He is. There it is. He's Gus Edwards. So if I'm looking at a full point PPR, I think it's Josh Wagner from SiriusXM Fantasy who said, "Give me all the McConkey Tonk, the Donkey Donk."
Yes, I was hoping
I finally got it right. I finally got it right.
You got it right. I was hoping you would give us permission, Howard, because that's all we wanted. I think that's what Dino and I wanted. We want permission to start Lad McConkey because, I mean, he's fun. And he didn't lead the team in routes run, but he was up there. They kind of did a mix, right? He looked better than Quentin Johnston. So Josh Palmer led the team, and then the other guys kind of mixed and matched. But I think after what we saw, man, he's looking good, dude. He's looking as advertised. And they get – who do they have? They have a good matchup this week. They have
Chargers against Carolina.
Boom, shakalaka. Get him in there. Let's go. Briz, what's happening? Trade questions today. So with the Tuesday show, we keep it to waivers because everybody has waivers, right? So with the Tuesday show, we get a little strict, soup Nazi style. You got to keep it in line. Here, a little more free flowing. You can ask waiver questions if they haven't run. You can ask start sits. You can ask trades. You can ask Howard about his man cave, right? Whatever questions you want. So let's get it. For instance, Fatty McFats wants an opinion on Jordan Whittington.
So, I mean, listen, I think Whittington is a good, solid upside play. But what we saw last week when Puka Nacua went down, it was Demarcus Robinson and it was Tyler Johnson. So I'm not saying that Whittington wasn't ready, but clearly McVay has Whittington little further down on that depth chart. Maybe he'll get some action in there if they go with like a 4 receiver set or even do a 5 receiver set in there. But I think what we're looking at right now is it's a lot of Cooper Kupp and then it's Demarcus Robinson sprinkled in with some Tyler Johnson beyond that. And that's kind of where I'm leaning for the most part here. Again, Matthew Stafford, he loves focusing on one guy.
Yeah, it's got to be a dynasty league or it's got to be like, if you did like a 22 round FFPC with like no kickers and defenses or something like that, then sure. You know what I mean? Because hey, I've seen enough Tyler Johnson over 4 years to know that he's not really going to pop, but they like Demarcus Robinson. And man, that $5 million contract for Demarcus Robinson is looking more and more like a steal for the Rams every week. Shout out on your Coop. I mean, I don't know why he signed that before free agency opened. And then guys like Darnell Mooney and Gabe Davis got like $40 million. Like, I don't know.
Because I think he kind of understands his role and his value. He's not being unrealistic. He didn't know that guys like Darnell Mooney, who are like schlubs, are going to all of a sudden like break the bank here. I think he was just like, you know what? I want to stay here. I like what they've got going. I'm the number 3, so I'm on the field for, a good amount of time here. And I think, there are some players who are like that. There are some players who are actual throwback players who are like, just let me play the game. Let me have some fun. I don't need $70 million when I'm already making 10.
Yeah, Josh Uche did that with the Patriots this year. Shout out. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I like it. And the thing is, he'll have a job. I mean, some guys, if he goes somewhere else and it doesn't pan out, he could be washed out of the league. Here, he has a job with the Rams probably for as long as he wants. So that's
Yep.
pretty good. Birdie, half PPR, Bucky Irving, Jalen Wright, or either Broncos RB. So we got Bucky, who we know is going to get some touches, but obviously in a split. Jalen Wright, who is a complete wild card, but probably going to be active. He wasn't active last week, but probably going to be active. And then either Broncos RB, I'm assuming he's referring to Javonte Williams or Julio McLaughlin.
Well, I'll say this: with Mostert out, if Achane is out, I kind of think that I would go with Jalen Wright. He could be center stage. I really do. I'm not saying he's going to do what Jordan Mason did to the Jets on Monday, but we know what the offensive scheme is. We know that they want to run the football. Yes, they said they wanted to throw the ball more, but McDaniel wants to run that football. So I think you're getting I think you're getting a stronger share from Jalen Wright on Thursday if Achane is out than Bucky Irving is going to get on Sunday with Tampa Bay. Now, I think I'm in on Javonte Williams. I know everybody hates him and everybody wants to go with Jaleel McLaughlin.
Easy for you to say.
No, it's really not. But listen, this is the perfect opportunity. Like, to me, this is one of those moments where no matter what, I'm taking Denver and the points against the Pittsburgh Steelers because everybody just overreacts to what they saw in week one. And everybody also forgets that teams traveling, especially going from Pittsburgh to Denver, and now you're playing in a higher altitude, the air is thinner, it's a problem. Denver is one of the best teams against the spread for games home games inside the first 4 weeks of the season. I'll have the data in the betting article over at Fantasy Alarm. But so for me, I look at Javonte Williams and say that, what's the best way to neutralize TJ Watt? A little dump off pass, right to Javonte. Just a little dump off pass to Javonte. So I'm kind of leaning in that direction.
That's it for me. If Devon Achane plays, it's Javonte Williams. If he doesn't play, you know what? Go for it, dude. Jalen Wright is so fast. He's so fast, so explosive. They use that orbit motion where they they send the back going all the way around behind the quarterback, and it's like those dump off passes. I don't know. Teams that just can't stop that right now. The orbit motion is kind of wild. So, but only if Achane's out. Let's see. Mile High Luke acknowledging that you are insane. Briz, here we go. Should I trade Kyler Murray, Achane, and Garrett Wilson for Josh Allen, Jamar Chase? Okay. So it's a 3 for 2. RBs would be Jacobs and Monty. Receivers would be Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith.
I mean, you're really shorting yourself on the running back situation. Like, you don't have anything beyond Jacobs or Monty. Like, that's something that I would like to see. Because in all honesty, I don't hate the deal.
No.
But I think you're kind of giving up a little too much and you're shorting yourself at running back to get 2 superstar names. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a rock solid QB all season long. I'm very much in on him.
Here's the thing.
Get on the page.
When I look at Kyler and Garrett Wilson versus Josh Allen and Jamar Chase, I'm not even 100% sure that Josh Allen and Jamar Chase outscore Kyler and Garrett Wilson. I would probably bet on them, but it's not an Achane difference. You know what I mean? I think you're giving up too much with Achane as the difference maker there. You know, it's like
he's a throw-in. Achane's a throw-in now.
He's like throw-in. Yeah, no, I would hang tight, man. I would hang tight, Briz. And you're gonna you can never have too much depth, especially with running backs. So stick with it. Thoughts on Devontae Adams' performance last week? I mean, for me, I see a guy that leads his team in targets. Wasn't incredible week one, but I think he's going to be just fine, man. It would be nice if Jacoby Myers would just kind of go away. Jacoby Myers only got 3 targets, but I mean, technically he led the team with 61 yards. But you know what? I'm with Adams. Wherever I have him, he's in my lineup, and I'm kind of happy with what we saw from Brock Bowers. I mean, boy, it would be nice if Adams and Bowers could really consolidate those targets at the top and get 6, 7, 8 targets a game for those 2 guys. I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you hit the nail right on the head. You can't sit there and say, well, what happened in week one? It doesn't matter what happened in week one. Devontae Adams is still the target leader on this team. He is still the number one guy. Him and Gardner Minshew will be on the same page moving forward. Not to mention the fact that Devontae Adams really needs to turn it out this season if he genuinely wants to be traded. And I know that that rumor is going on. No team is going to take him if he's like this disgruntled little pissant who's complaining constantly. So
Right.
he's going to toe the line. He's going to play his game, and I think he's got the ability to be that high end wide receiver one that everybody drafted him as.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in. I'm already all in on him. Mile High Luke, under the radar pickups: Pierre Strong, who played some snaps, Donta Foreman played one, or Jordan Whittington, who also only played one snap. I mean, if it's that deep a league, I would go with Pierre. I would just go with Pierre Strong since we know Puka Nacua is coming back. You know what I mean? So, what's the upside for Jordan Whittington? That he emerges over the next 2 games and then becomes startable just in time for Nacua to come back? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just it's
exactly.
very difficult. Uh,
Can't
let's do
put that
one.
back in the bottle though, Coop. Come on.
Yeah, you cannot. Dude, that's a top 5 all-time least favorite rebuttal that I get on Twitter. Can't put him back in the bottle is it's top 5. Number 1 for sure for me is, if you watch them play.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah,
number 1,
yeah.
right? It's always, Cheesehead 69. He's like, "If you watch Tucker Kraft play as much as I have," right? It's like, what, you watched him for an hour on Sunday? So did I. I watch all these games. A lot of times I watch them twice because I'll throw them on my iPad while I'm writing the articles. It's like, dude, I've watched the Packers too. Tucker Kraft is fine. Okay. Last question. Then let's do a quick game preview and then we'll get back into questions here. If Achane sits out, or would you want to just keep doing questions until there are no questions,
You know what, man? You lead,
Howard? Okay.
I'll follow today, right? I'm anticipating like my wife coming home soon. There's no door on the office. The dogs are gonna get all unruly and everybody's gonna get all crazy. So I put all of my trust into you, Andrew Cooper, to decide what should we do right now.
Let's answer Jonathan Santiago's question, and then we'll talk about Thursday, and then we'll go back to questions. If Achane
Okay.
sits out, no Achane, no Mostert in the hypothetical world, Jeff Wilson or Zach Moss?
Ooh. I'll tell you what, that's kind of an interesting one. It really is. And
It's
I
kind of like
think I'm
the Office, where it's like they're the same picture. You know what I
it
mean?
kind of is because I like Zach Moss a ton. I really do. It is against Kansas City. You are dealing with a strong, you've got Karlaftis, you've got Chris Jones on the defensive line. So, it's kind of a tough matchup. And honestly, Cincinnati really needs to show that they can throw the ball if they're going to want to keep pace. So, I kind of look at this situation here that if Achane is out, yeah, I might go with Jeff Wilson here just because I know that Buffalo can be vulnerable to the run.
Right. And you will never have an opportunity to start Jeff Wilson again. So
Never.
start him here. And then if he sucks, you can have the most satisfying dropping of Jeff Wilson to the waivers that you will ever have next Tuesday. Okay. Because yeah, I mean this is the golden opportunity for this one player. So go right ahead. All right, let's talk about this game while we're talking about it. We've got the Thursday, so tomorrow, football right back, dude. Oh, I love football season. I wish we had a permanent Friday game, but can't have everything. So we got Dolphins, Bills. The Bills will be traveling to Miami, but it's a night game, so they won't suffer from the magnifying glass that stadium is. The Dolphins are favored by 2.5. The over-under for that game, 49 points. So one of the highest scoring games, I believe the second highest over-under this week. On the Bills side, Howard, all eyes on Dalton Kincaid. And we saw based on the overactions on Twitter last week from Thursday and Friday, you know how it goes. If there's 8 games at 1 o'clock, nobody notices. When you're the only game on Thursday, if Dalton Kincaid goes and has one target again, how are we freaking out?
I'm not freaking out. There's no way you're freaking out. It's just bad form. Again, it's week one. There's plenty of overreaction. What I'm looking for here is whether or not Josh Allen is going to spread the ball around as much as he did in week one. He hit 10 different pass catchers in week one. So, I think Keon Coleman led the team with 5 targets. And then beyond that, you had Khalil Shakir. I think Dalton Kincaid had like 3 targets, only 1 catch or something like that, or,
Right.
whatever it was. But, that's something that we need to see. Like, we need to see if Josh Allen is going to consolidate those targets or not. And then we can kind of make our determination from there. So, if you're playing the showdown lineup on Thursday night, I'm fine using Kincaid and taking that chance. I will say Miami did a good job stifling Evan Engram in week one. And that's, something that you should definitely be wary of, especially if you do have Kincaid and you start him and he doesn't pan out, then, the rage drop in, for week 3 is probably going to be,
I
bit
had someone
much.
I had someone already do that. Somebody on my not one of my
Really?
followers. One of my followers said someone in their league dropped Dalton Kincaid for Isaiah Likely. And he was like, "Do I drop Brock Bowers for Dalton Kincaid?" I was like, "Dude, drop somebody else and get Bowers and Kincaid."
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
like, "Do that." It's like, Kincaid. All right. So behind the scenes, because like the week one, we care more about usage than we care about targets, right? The game scripts are all over the place. The Bills only threw 23 times. Like they're going to have games where they throw 50 times. He was top 5 in route participation, 83% route participation. He ran 70% of his snaps from a wide receiver spot. Okay. Didn't block on any pass plays. This guy's going to be just fine. Okay. Javon Holland and Jordan Poyer, Evan Engram got 3 targets against the safeties. He didn't catch any of them. Against the linebacker, he caught a pass. So if this game goes bad, I'm willing to consider that maybe the Dolphins are a good team against the tight end. So I'm still in on Dalton Kincaid. I'm not dropping him. I'll buy low this week. I'll buy low next week. I believe in this player. He's not going to go from having 80 receptions last year to being unstartable this year. Okay. So everyone settle down. Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid led the team in snaps. What do you think, Howard? Keon Coleman, I mean, that's the first barrier to entry is being out there, right? And he's out there. He got the targets. I don't know. I moved him up a little bit, but you can't move him higher than a lot of established. I thought I was going to move him higher when I first saw his usage, but then when I got into the rankings, I was like, well, I can't move him past.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I like the snap count. It's good to see. We want him to succeed, but I'm not gonna be, completely reactionary. Maybe somebody who I do some radio with went from I'm never drafting or starting Keon Coleman because he can't get separation to, oh my God, did you see the way this guy comes down with the ball in traffic? Like, I'm not gonna, I don't waver like that. I've got, that's why you read all the systems articles over at Fantasy Alarm in the draft guide, to explain situations, usage, and who pops and who doesn't in a particular game. I want Keon Coleman to succeed. I really do. I want Khalil Shakir to succeed. These are guys who I'm willing to give, other shots to. I think that this game probably ticks on the over. Miami and Buffalo, and I think that you're going to want to be invested in it, and I think
Mhm.
that it's Coleman, Shakir, Kincaid, possibly even Samuel. Like these guys are all to me, they're all usable in this format.
Yeah, I want to see Shakir play more snaps, but he's clearly involved. If you watch that game, like they're scheming things up for him. Like he's clearly a one of the focal points of this offense, and they do want to be run heavy. So James Cook also good. Ray Davis just a handcuff though. He did not play as much as people thought he would. It's the James Cook show, which is a good thing if you drafted James Cook. On the Dolphins side, Raheem Mostert has been ruled out. Devon Achane on the fence, so Jeff Wilson could be in play. Jalen Wright could be in play. Uh, as far as pass catchers, it's really just Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill because of how much they use the fullback. Alec Ingold played a bunch. And unfortunately, we're hoping because we're always rooting for the tight ends, right? We got a soft spot for tight ends over here. But unfortunately, Johnny Smith split snaps with Durham Smythe, the Durhammer, the blocking tight end. So they each ran less than 20 routes on a team that dropped back 48 times. That's going to be a no for me, dog. Guys like Theo Johnson, Colby Parkinson, those teams also dropped back between 45 and 50 times, and those guys were running 38, 42 routes. Like and those aren't even guys we're really rostering. You know what I mean? Like that, there's too many Zach Ertzes and these guys that are playing like that are running like 75, 80% of the routes for us to have a guy that runs less than half the routes. So we'll keep an eye on it because he's an explosive player. Maybe he does take over a bigger workload at some point, but right now, nah. So anything else on the Dolphins front, or should we just get back to questions? Dolphins are the easiest teams I love teams like the Dolphins where it's like they got two good players and the running backs are good, and then that's good.
Yeah, best thing that we can say here right now, first and foremost, if you don't have a subscription over at fantasyalarm.com, zap the QR code that's in the corner right above my boy there, and take it for a free spin, right? Because if you sign up for the monthly or the annual, we'll give you a 7-day free trial that you can, if you want to cancel after that, go ahead and cancel after that. But go ahead, sign up, and then go over there. I've got a betting article. Dan Malin's got the showdown write-up. I'm sure Mark Lammy's got a prop article popping up there as well. And so we might even see some sleeper picks and some prize picks and some fun stuff like that, some underdog picks. So all that content for Thursday Night Football, it's already there live on fantasyalarm.com right now. I'm obviously going to update my my article just to mention that Raheem Mostert has been ruled out, but that's not really affecting too much of what I'm thinking is happening in this game. So, yeah, let's get back to those questions, baby.
Yeah, here's what you do. You get the 7-day free trial. You play the showdown slate, win yourself $20. That pays for your first month at 50% off, right? That gets you your fantasy baseball your fantasy basketball and fantasy hockey draft guides, right? If you
Coop, I'm going to stop you right now. There is no draft guide for basketball or hockey.
Well, there's rankings at least.
There's rankings, sure, but there's no draft guide. I just don't want you to, give big promises unless you're planning on writing a draft guide for NBA.
I'm just signing up. I'm signing up Chris and James Grande to do a draft guides. All right. Well, there's rankings. You get your rankings for those sports, and then you're cruising. Okay, so that's the plan. And
we might have a cheat sheet. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Probably
we'll dabble, maybe. Okay, but there's rankings at the very least. All right, let's get back into the chat and let's hit what people are talking about. Tampa Bay Lions over under 51. We'll definitely get into that after we hit some questions. What's up, all? PPR have to activate Hollywood off the IR, so he needs to drop somebody. Jalen McMillan, Braylon Allen, and he has Breece Hall, Tyler Algier, or Brandon Cooks.
Well, if you don't have Bijan Robinson, then I'm looking at dropping Tyler Algier.
I think that's the way to play it. Absolutely. So yeah, Algier's the go. I mean, Jalen McMillan has some standalone value. He's I would say, Howard, double handcuff plus territory.
Yes.
Where if you need him, I mean, he dropped a touchdown pass and caught one. If you need him, throw him in there. But if somebody gets hurt, now it's wheels up. Yes, Jack, attaboy. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. Do whatever you can to support us, and that's free. You know what I mean? We're giving out free 7-day trials. You can support free advice here on the channel during the show. All you gotta do, like, subscribe. And we're not asking for a whole lot, are we, Howard?
No, I don't think we're asking for very much. It's one click. If you're watching us on Twitter, just click onto the YouTube link and get it there. So yeah, just a free way of saying we appreciate you.
Rod Elliott driving the hot rod team here. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall. Oh boy, Jordan Mason. He's got to sit one. So let's assume that CMC's out. We're starting sitting Derrick Henry, sitting the king, right?
I mean, it's a really good matchup for him, right? Isn't it Vegas? They're playing Las Vegas.
But Barkley and Hall.
I'm definitely not saying like. I mean, that's in all honesty. I mean, I would probably have to. Yeah, man.
I have Jordan Mason
down to Henry or Mason, but
if CMC is out,
this is where you need a trade.
At this moment, under the assumption that CMC is not playing against the Minnesota Vikings, I have Jordan Mason ranked RB5 this week. I couldn't rank him ahead of Breece or Bijan or Saquon or Jonathan Taylor, but I mean, I don't know, dude. He looked really, really good. He looked really good.
He did. He looked fantastic. Absolutely. But, and Derrick Henry looked okay. He didn't look great, but Lamar Jackson was like taking all that, all the rushing yards on himself. Does Lamar Jackson need to do that this week against,
No.
I mean, is he going to be running for his life from Max Crosby, or is the offensive line going to be able to kind of hold on to things there?
Yeah,
So
he'll be fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would trade Jordan Mason to the CMC owner for anything that will go into your lineup. That's what I would do. I would
yeah.
look at his
Oh,
team.
have I seen some bad? And can we just address this right now? Actually, like the trading of Jordan Mason. Think about this: if you have Jordan Mason, you're trying to shop him to the CMC owner or anybody else in the league who's interested in him. Understand this: the ceiling is McCaffrey pops his Achilles his first game back. Right, he comes back in like 2 weeks. And he pops his Achilles because it's Achilles tendonitis and it's a calf injury. And we've seen that from a variety of different players where it starts with the calf and the next thing you know, the Achilles pops.
Kevin Durant, Aaron Rodgers.
Right. The ceiling is that Jordan Mason is the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers. So, if you are shopping him around, I'm not saying, you say I'm not, doing anything less than like Breece Hall. But if you give Jordan Mason and a quality wide receiver, well, then yeah, you can fish for that high up. But I mean, I don't know. I've seen some stuff. It was like Jordan Mason for J.K. Dobbins. Somebody said Jordan Mason for Keon Coleman, and I'm like, you're undervaluing it a little bit too much right now. You're trying to trade him before he loses value and CMC comes back. I understand that. But you can't short yourself overall because you could be giving, I'm not going to say a league winner. Up yours for everybody who says league winner on the regular.
I love saying it. I love saying it as a joke.
Oh,
That's
it's
my
the absolute worst statement possible. That's probably like my trigger. Yours is put it back in the bottle. Can't put it back in the bottle. Mine or go watch the games. Mine is, he's a league winner. Everybody wants to have a league winner. I'm not going to say that Mason's going to be a league winner, but he does have that upside to be the starting running back for the 49ers if McCaffrey gets hurt. So just understand that when you're valuing him for trades right now.
Right, exactly. That's why the exact thing I said was a player that goes directly into your lineup.
Directly into your lineup. Starts every week for you.
Every week. And again, we don't know for sure if J.K. Dobbins is that. So if you went true, pure zero RB and you missed on everything, maybe you trade for J.K. Dobbins. Otherwise, aim a little higher. Don't be afraid to dream a little bit bigger, darling.
Or as Rex Timotheus says, right? You or you don't even have to shop them around at all. Maybe just hold them, see what happens. Just a tip, just to see how it feels.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, and Bijan Robinson,
well, yeah. Now, I mean, if
you can upgrade your wide receiver
up.
All right, we're getting too far in the weeds. I'm taking control. Ben Miner, 10-team, 1 QB league. Should I be worried about Adams and Ridley?
No.
Good. No. Do we think Ayuk knocks the rust off this week, or should I take a shot to see if Xavier Worthy gets a big play again? Xavier Worthy, couple big plays, only 3 targets, but he rookie Tyreek Hill, if you go back, wasn't really playing. He was playing 60% of the snaps, but he was just too good. So I don't know. You start Ayuk, right?
I think you start Ayuk against Minnesota. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he looked a little rusty, but I mean, he got open and got a touchdown pass in his hands, and
and if CMC is out again, they're going to lean a little bit more on that pass, and it was definite rust there, which is why Debo got so much more of the attention. But yeah, I would start Ayuk here.
Will Levis. Malik Willis. Ooh, great googly moogly. Malik Willis. Jacoby Brissett, Howard. Jacoby ran 7 times. Did you hear the comments from Gerard Mayo on the radio, Howard?
No, what did he say?
Something that only Gerard Mayo could get away with saying. He said, Jacoby Brissett, this is his quote. He said, Jacoby Brissett, he looked pretty mobile out there for being the slowest black quarterback in the league. That's what Gerard Mayo said. But hey, he did look mobile. 7 rushes. I think I would go with Jacoby.
I would go with Jacoby over Malik Willis 100%.
Yeah. Chargers D this week. Are they a top ranked D? I have them ranked pretty high. I have them ranked very high.
Yeah,
I have
Carolina's a little rough around the edges.
my rankings this week. My top 10 are the teams you would expect, the good defenses, and then within the top 10 are the Chargers against the Panthers, and then I also have the Packers D. I'm sorry, I also have the Colts D ranked pretty high going against the Eagles. You know,
Yes.
yeah, because I mean it's just situations like that. I also have, I think I had Denver. I also moved kind of into that range with Justin Fields going up to mile high after not the Steelers didn't score a touchdown last week. So there you go. What do you think trade? Well, no, we covered the trade value there, but and if you start Mason over Dobbins for sure, if CMC's out, so we covered all that.
Mhm.
Dortch or Ridley PPR. The thing with
Ooh.
Dortch got a lot of targets, but oddly, when you peel back the curtain a bit, he only played 54% of the snaps. Kind of a conundrum. Ridley played the whole game, but I don't know.
It's a much tougher matchup against the Jets secondary, and I think they're better prepared for Tennessee than they were for San Francisco. So kind of leaning Dortch here, but very, very little. If it were me, I'd probably just start Ridley anyway. I
Yeah, I would
can't.
too.
I can't. Like Dortch is behind Marvin Harrison Jr. is behind Trey McBride. Michael Wilson got in on the action as well. So I would probably just take my shot with Ridley. That we see some huck it chuck it football from Brian Callahan and the Titans this week.
Yeah, when you put Dortch in there and he has X number of targets for under 50 yards, 11, it's like
Four
you're
four
gonna
catches for 46 yards. That's what you're looking at.
and you're gonna look at it and you're gonna say, "Well, I got exactly what I thought I was gonna get," and it's not gonna look good. Give yourself a chance at upside. Like it's like that the don't open dead bird inside, and he looks in there and he's like, I'm not sure what I was expecting. Like that's Greg Dortch, man. Like you're gonna get a couple. He's Cole Beasley. Colby
Oof.
Parkinson, that's a solid option, but would you start him over someone like Ingram? Nah, I'm
No.
gonna roll with Ingram still.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too.
Colby Parkinson he's fine, but we don't know if he's even going to be the second target.
This is where everybody just starts getting a little too cute because a guy didn't pop in week 1 like they wanted him to. So careful.
Evan Engram going back every year to the beginning of time has been terrible in week 1. I think the year before last he had straight up 0 points. Last year, I think he might have also had 0 points. Evan Engram just doesn't show up week 1. What are you going to do? Standard league, sit 2 of these players. James Conner is going to be in your lineup. So is Travis Kelce. So, okay, you got to sit one of Ford, Moss, Swift, likely. Well, you can sit Higgins too.
Well, can we? That's one of the things. So, when you're dealing with guys like this, all right, there's nobody in this group who's playing on Thursday night football. And there is no Friday night football and there's no Saturday football either. So
Right.
what you have to do is you genuinely have to, like, the guys who I'm definitely starting in this, like you said, Coop, I'm starting Connor no matter what. I'm starting Kelce no matter what. All right. So
Yes.
then when you look at these other guys here, you got to take a look at that matchup. I'd probably start Moss out of, in this group. Higgins, we just have to wait and see, whether or not he's going to be okay. If I'm doing a lean right now, as far as like who I might end up sitting, it could be likely.
Yeah.
And it's either, it could be likely. And if Higgins is healthy and good to go, then it's probably going to be either Ford or Swift that I'm going to sit.
Right. I'm incapable of being unbiased on Rashid Shaheed right now. So if you have Rashid Shaheed questions, you can't ask me those. So the answer is
Dude,
yes.
somebody they dropped him, not dropped him. Somebody like he was just like left alone in one of my leagues. I couldn't even believe it. I picked him up off waivers.
I have him in so many leagues. It's nuts, dude. I went to look for him in leagues and I was like, wow, I have him in like 10 real redraft leagues and so many
Yeah.
best balls. So things went well for him. Should I trade Gibbs and Ayuk for Laporta and JT? Gibbs and Ayuk. I need a tight end, and my wide receivers are really good. Ayuk didn't even play for me in week 1. Say that's probably about right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if that's, I mean, you're replacing Gibbs with Jonathan Taylor, who I love, right? And you didn't even start Ayuk, and you managed to make it through, and you need a tight end, and you're getting an elite tight end. So yeah, I would make that move.
Build your lineup. Build your lineup. That's what you
Yeah.
get. Focus on your lineup first. Win these games because so many times I have a really good team at the come playoff time, and it's and sometimes I don't make the playoffs because my team goes like 7-6, and it's like sometimes I wish I just focused on my damn lineup instead of all this speculating. So I've made that mistake myself. Win the games now while you can. Also, I mean, with this Lions team, they're definitely a more well-rounded team this year. Good, the defense looks better, and they with Jameson Williams coming on, they might not need to force it to anybody, but I think it's just going to be a situation where they have 4 or 5 really good guys every week, So
Mhm.
maybe they don't have to force it to Amon-Ra St. Brown every single play, but he'll still be fine.
Hey, you watch it.
I get in trouble with that stuff. I get in trouble.
The ARSB police going to be banging at your door.
I'm gonna send a tweet that gets me in trouble after the show, I think. On that.
Dun, 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 dun. At Coupe Fiasco on Twitter. Give him a follow. Watch him burn.
Watch me get myself in trouble with Amon-Ra St. Brown tweet after the show. All right. Briz. Ooh, Bowers or Kincaid.
Ooh.
I'm sticking with Kincaid.
It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. I'll probably stick with Kincaid, but you know what? Baltimore missing Patrick Queen and not having Mike McDonald as their defensive coordinator, little bit of an effect. They actually struggled in that first game in covering, in covering the tight end. Like Kelsey and Noah Gray combined for like 7 catches for 74 yards or something like that.
Right.
So, I think Bowers definitely has the ability. I mean, he saw 8 targets in the last game. So I think Bowers is definitely a guy that's definitely startable. I'll still lean Kincaid for the time being.
Yeah, and it's not even so much that we don't like Kincaid, it's Bowers coming up. Coming up, and I think you might be in a situation where you might be able to be the golden king that can afford to trade away a tight end. And I would encourage people in a situation, if you have 2 tight ends, to trade them away early because, the position always starts slow and people freak out because, there's 100 wide receivers and there's only like 20 tight ends. So it's so much easier to be like, oh, they all suck than if at other positions, but tight ends going to be just fine. So take advantage of the panic while you can. Thoughts from Millie Mills. I lost Love, made a trade yesterday for A-Rich and Tajay. A-Rich and Tajay for Monty and JMO. I already have Stevenson on my bench, Henry and Kamara. So the trade is Anthony Richardson and Tajay Spears for David Montgomery and JMO. Oh, man.
He's giving Montgomery and Jameson Williams.
I love Anthony Richardson.
Me too.
Absolutely. But he needs to be a league winner here. And now you got to turn around when Love gets healthy and maybe trade Love. Unless it's a two QB league, in which case it's a great trade. But yeah, I don't know. You got to turn around and trade Love when he gets healthy. And then it will come full circle and be worth it. All right. Start 2 running backs. Zeke, Singletary, Eckler, Chuba. That's a real start sit question right there, Bender.
All right. I'm probably looking at Singletary and Eckler in that game. I've gotta, we gotta pump the brakes. I know that Dave Canales loves to run the football, but he needs to get that offense in order first. Like before I can sit and trust in Chuba Hubbard, because I love Chuba. I really do. And I think that he can lead this backfield because I'm not a Miles Sanders guy and Raheem Blackshear isn't somebody who I'm interested in, but I'm not ready to commit to that at that point. And then Zeke, again, you're talking about, is Dalvin Cook going to be ready for this game, right? And, you've got Rico Dowdle, and Zeke really is just kind of like, he's a good pass blocker, and maybe he gets that goal line work there. But the New Orleans Saints kind of beefed up their defensive line a little bit as well. So I'm looking at, 2 horrendous defenses and 2 terrible teams with the Giants and the Commanders. Somebody's got to work.
Right.
And it's
And
going to be the running backs.
FFPC's full PPR as well. So that's another little point for Eckler. So Singletary and Eckler. I'm with you on that. Zeke and Dowdle split right down the middle. And which works if the team's really good at running the football. I'm not sure how good that team's going to be. All right, we got to go rapid fire for a bit here. James Hernandez, two of my very favorites here. So I will recuse myself from Pittman or Godwin.
I'm going to go with Godwin here over Pittman. I love Pittman, but he's going to see a ton of Jair Alexander, who, not the same cover corner he used to be, but I'll still take Godwin.
If you go to the Fantasy Alarm Week 2 rankings, which are now up, I did them myself. If you drafted Chris Godwin, you will be pleasantly shocked at where I have him ranked this week. Cooper Kupp got 21 targets last week. He got 14 targets out of the slot and caught 11 of them against this Lions team. That's what Godwin has this week as a matchup. The over-under for that game is 51.5. Boy, am I excited for Chris Godwin. Every DFS lineup I make will have Chris Godwin. Two flex spots.
I'm excited that you're excited.
I'm fired up, dude. I love football, bro. Two flex spots in PPR: Chuba, Javonte, Tank, JMO. And again, we got to try and go rapid fire here.
All right, JMO and I might go Tank Dell here. I think I'm going Tank Dell and Jameson Williams. There you go.
You have an opportunity to have a very fun team. Yes. That could also be disappointing. Grab Jeff Wilson, folks. Yes, grab him. Grab Jeff Wilson now if you can. Trade question.
I got slapped by CMC this week. Team is Allen, CMC, Kamari, Olave. Trading, being offered Kincaid and Ford for Olave. You're definitely improving at the tight end position here. And you're limiting your Saints exposure. Right?
Chris, let us know who your other running backs are. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I need to see who else is on that team.
How bad do you need Ford? That's the question.
Yeah, agreed.
Tyler Johnson, no. Here we go. Should I start Ayuk, Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., or Jordan Mason? I'm starting Jordan Mason. There's probably only maybe 8 people I would start over Jordan Mason if Christian McCaffrey's out.
Correct. If McCaffrey does somehow come back and play, then I'd probably lean to Ayuk.
Yep. Bingo. And also, great draft because, boy, you got to be feeling good about Worthy and Brian Thomas Jr. because you never know. They could have been nothings. They could have been big nothings, but instead they're
I don't know if you know the meaning of the word rapid fire.
The words. Yeah, I'm the worst at that.
You've said it 3 times.
Jason Sanders or Tyler Bass?
I'll take Sanders. I'll take the home guy. Home guy in Miami.
Yeah. Need to trade one of DK, Terry, Hollywood, Mike Williams. The only one that has, I would trade Terry McLaurin because he's going to get you the most value, and I'm most worried about him. You can't trade Hollywood or Mike Williams for anything. No one's going to take him.
And I don't want to trade DK at all. So good job.
Panthers are horrible. I still have Jonathan Brooks. Do you expect him to be fantasy relevant? Boy, yes. I hope so.
In 4 weeks, I do.
Zamir White or JSN?
This week in PPR against Baltimore Ravens. Ooh.
Seattle gets the Pats, dude.
JSN against the Pats. Well, you tell me, man. What's the Pats pass coverage going to look like?
It's going to be, they're good on the outside, so it's going to be good for JSN.
All right, JSN it is.
It's like Christian Gonzalez is not going to go in there and cover JSN. He's going to be on Metcalf.
He's going to be on Metcalf the whole time.
Metcalf's going to be a buy low after this week. Don't have Bijan or Rachaad White. Drop Algier for Bucky Irving.
Sure.
Yes. CMC not playing. Just read it. There you go. Jordan Mason, RB5 for me this week. Lamar or Herbert? Gotta start Lamar.
Yeah. I don't even know why that's a question.
Justice Hill or Jeff Wilson? Easy enough. If Achan's out, go Jeff Wilson. Justice Hill look pretty good.
I'll go. You know what? Mostert's out. I'll still go Jeff Wilson over Justice Hill.
Okay.
Half point PPR, yeah.
Yeah, if you ain't true Raider in the house, if you ain't draft Brock Bowers, you're not making the playoffs. Rookie of the year. Dude, every step of the way that guy wins. All he does is win awards and exceed expectations. Someone RQ, should I drop Tajay or Zamir White for Mason?
Tajay.
Tajay, yes. Do I start Mason over Mixon? Yeah, I think
Ooh,
Mixon looked incredible. 30
he looked
carries,
fantastic. But yeah,
leading
I guess you got to go Mason if CMC's out.
Gotta go Mason, but
It's a tough
Mixon,
one there, but yeah, you gotta.
you're not just starting Mason. You're starting Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk and all the goods. That's the whole thing. Mixon looks great though. Good team.
Big winner.
Yeah, that's the team where you trade Mason. Lawson Joku, Colby Parkinson, Johnny Smith, Theo Johnson. To use Johnson, I would have to pull out of Taxi Squad.
Did he just say he's going to pull out his Johnson? Start Colby Parkinson. I don't want to hear. I don't even want to know the rest of the question here. He just said he's pulling out his Johnson in Dynasty. So
don't pull out your Johnson just
don't
yet.
Pull it out.
If you can,
we don't need to see it.
Good usage so far though, but he blocked on like 16% of his pass plays.
I need to bird box this thing right now.
Grab Jeff Wilson off the wire, drop him your flex out. Thoughts on the Seattle pass catchers? With Ryan Grubb, they're all going to play more. So we like DK best. We hope, but JSN needs to show us something. That's it. Lobby is Lauby droppable? Yeah. Unless it's a crazy deep league. I know you play a lot of FFPC, Luke, but yeah. Pacheco, Kamara, Rice, Godwin. Should I sit any of them for Brian Robinson Jr.? No. Should I drop Blake Corum for Shaheed or Cooks? Yes, I would drop Blake Corum for Rashid Shaheed.
He doesn't have Kyron? I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't. I mean, it depends on what your running back room looks like. If you have good depth at running back, then you can make that move and drop him for Shaheed. But I'm a little worried.
The way I view it, Howard, is that that if Shaheed and Cooks are on the wire, it's a shallow league. So there's going to be handcuffs and stuff on the wire. If those guys are on the wire, it's a shallow league. And I would rather just have Shaheed. Sell Kamara high. No, keep Kamara. Kamara's awesome. The schedule's awesome. I want to trade Likely. Who can I get for him? That's a question of the day, buddy.
Whatever anybody's willing to pay for him. That's what it comes down to. Shop him around to somebody who either has Mark Andrews and is looking for a handcuff. You won't get as much back. Or find somebody who, ended up settling for a late tight end who's sitting with like a Dalton Schultz or a Pat Freiermuth. Shop Likely that way. You'll probably get a better price.
Right now, I value Likely the way I value Dallas Goedert. I think at the very best case scenario, it's a 3-way split among the top 3 guys on the team with Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and Likely. So that's where I'm going to put him. I think he's going to keep some sort of semblance of a role, but it might be another guy that gets 5 targets, catches 4 of them every week. Ooh, Chris Godwin or Nico Collins.
Ooh. Full point PPR, I'm going Godwin.
I have Godwin ahead in full PPR. If it's standard or half, though, you can go Nico Collins.
You can go Nico.
I have A-Chain now. He's not playing. Who should I start? PPR. Tank Bigsby, Rico Dowdle, Trey Benson, DeAndre Swift. I think it's got to be Swift. I mean, his role was pretty good. Howard.
Did they rule him out? Did they?
I think they.
I haven't seen Achane ruled out yet.
There's been some stuff going on. Howard, did you address this since yesterday? We have somebody from Twitch asking a question. Twitch gang in the you did not. Yeah. Make a note to yourself. Get those glasses. Trade Xavier Worthy for DK Metcalf. The answer is yes. And I know it's yes for Howard because Howard also loves DK Metcalf.
Yes.
I have Bowers and Likely. I want to get rid of Likely.
Do it.
D-Hop, Shaheed. Need 2 here for Ann Dunn. D-Hop, Shaheed, Singletary, or Zamir White.
Singletary and Shaheed for me.
I'm not starting DeAndre Hopkins until he goes out there and plays a full game.
Yep.
End of story.
Agreed.
He does this all the time. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I need him to play more than 75% of the snaps in the game. Tyler Johnson, Zamir White, or Keon Coleman.
Tyler Johnson, Zamir White, or Keon Coleman. Ooh. I think I might go Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
I think I might go Coleman here.
Fun play. We always have to check with Howard to see if we're allowed to do the fun plays. And this time we are. Tony Pollard, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving off waivers are my other RBs, full PPR. So Bucky's on waivers. Nah, start Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard and Zach Moss, it turns out, are the starting running backs for their team. Tony Pollard, Zach Moss, and Kenneth Walker played more snaps, and James Conner and Kyron Williams, these guys played more snaps in all phases. Okay. What do you guys think of Drake London? I think he'll be fine as long as Kirk Cousins isn't just going to be the tin man for the entire season. So I'm not too worried about it. Drop Chuba Hubbard for Ray Davis.
No.
Ray Davis hardly played. Although Lonely B makes a good point, all Carolina Panthers are droppable. I got to give him more than one game.
I got to give him more than one game.
Realistic wide receiver trade targets for Mason owners. Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin tier. Rashad White. Rashid Shaheed. Go for the guys that.
Go higher than Shaheed. Godwin's higher than Shaheed.
I love Shaheed. But yeah, if you can't get Godwin, but I love Shaheed, man. Anywhere in that wide receiver 2-3 range.
Yeah.
If you feel real good about your team, maybe it's a good time to buy low on a guy like Jaden Reed or Romeo Dubs. Dubs might be not high enough, but with Jordan Love kind of banged up, you might be able to steal a guy like that. I think Jaden Reed had the second most yards from scrimmage of any player behind only Joe Mixon this week. Wide receiver and 2 flexes. So 3 of these players. Harrison, Ayuk, Pickens, JSN, Javonte, Jalen Wright.
All right. So Harrison, Ayuk, and Pickens lead the way for me right now.
That's it for me. I'm doing that.
I mean, if Achane is out, then I might consider Jalen Wright over Pickens.
Yes.
If Achane's out.
If Achane's out, because you're going to get Patrick Surtain on George Pickens with Justin Fields at quarterback, and that doesn't sound good.
Exactly.
That sounds bad. Okay. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Rashee Rice, and Chris Godwin in a 12-team league. First of all, congratulations. Who should I start between Ford and Ramondre Stevenson? Who should I sit? My RB1 is Cook.
You're all over the place here, Coop. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Rashee Rice, and Chris Godwin. He's got
basically if he wants to start. Well, no, so
it's Wilson, AJ Brown, and Godwin. That's who you're starting. Yes. And then Wilson, the other one between Ford and Stevenson, who should you sit? I'd sit Ford. Stevenson obviously is going to be getting the carries there.
Yes, sir. I thought he had to start Ford or Stevenson in the flex. Either way, question is answered. Start Stevenson and sit Rashee Rice. Very good, everyone. Lamar. Flowers or DJ Moore?
Oh, I think I'd go Flowers here against the Raiders. I'm a little concerned about Chicago and DJ Moore and that matchup against Houston. You'll probably see a lot of Derek Stingley, right?
Yeah. I need Caleb Williams to throw for over 100 yards in a game before I start getting those guys back in there. Got offered ETN and Diggs for Kamara and Metcalf. What do y'all think?
I'd rather have Kamara and Metcalf.
Yeah, Kamara looked good. Kamara's got a good schedule. I love how hard Howard was looking for the shades.
I like that. It's like that GIF with John Travolta where he's like,
just a green screen. He just moved, people. We will get. I'll make sure he has them.
I'll have shades for next week. I promise.
Yeah, I bought an extra pair of the Twitch glasses for John and Pemba for Sundays. So
I've got a special pair of Twitch glasses that I will bust out next week.
Yes, Daniels over Goff for this week, with Daniels getting the Giants. Jaden Daniels, yeah, Jaden Daniels is like, I'm starting him everywhere I got him.
I'm a little more on Goff here. I mean, it's a super high point total. It's going to be a back and forth game, and I like the weaponry there against Tampa Bay. Yeah, I know they like to run the football. Absolutely.
Jaden Daniels.
All right.
Okay. You know the deal. You got the safe playing Goff. You got the high risk, high reward.
Just saying, Jaden Daniels did not look good last week.
Look good when you focus your thing just down to the rushing yards total.
Squint hard enough and you can see it. Is that what
you squint hard enough at just the rushing yards? He looks great for me in fantasy football. Hello, Herbert. RB listing linked to my line. Devonta Smith or Drake London? Let's knock these out. We're doing pretty good.
Devonta Smith.
Yes. 14-team PPR league. My team. Good team. Who do I go with, Zeke or Zach Moss or Zamir White? That's the
Zach
question.
Moss.
Yep.
Yep. Everybody's got a problem with Chuba.
Yep.
We'll just see what happens, Hal.
Trade Devonta Smith and Zach Moss for Rice and Bigsby. No, I would not.
No, I'd stick with Smith and Moss.
I love, dude. I don't know why people don't like Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is awesome.
I don't know.
Like the Eagles, they do it. We know what they're going to do. They do it every week.
He's got Rice on this side. He says it right there. I have Rice. So yes.
Oh yeah.
If they're giving you Devonta Smith and Zach Moss, take that trade.
Yeah, do it, dude.
Bigsby's trash.
Yeah, the Eagles do exactly what they say they're going to do, and they're good at it. It's the perfect thing for fantasy football. It's the same guys every play. 2 flexes. So start 2 of these guys: Deontay Johnson, Jeff Wilson, Najee Harris, Greg Dortch. Najee looked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Najee looked fine there. I would go Najee, and if Achane is out, Jeff Wilson.
Yep. And otherwise, just go Deontay Johnson. CD Rashi, Cup, Devontae. Wow, Jack Sensen with the wagon over here. Wagon alert. Who's the bench out of those guys? Rashi Rice, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right, that's it for us here. Last questions, real quick, just knocking them out. Start CJ Stroud. Yep. Mason over Mixon, Nico or Gibbs. They all seem.
Yes.
I would say Nico and start 3 running backs.
Yep.
And then very last question here: Monte and Bowers for Drake London. No.
Yeah, I'm holding Monty and Bowers here.
Keep them. That's it, everybody. We got through it. Cleared the deck. Now we're going to win every single league. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe. Get yourself a copy of that all-pro package right now. If you like this stuff, we have everything on the site behind the paywall. The rankings, the target totem pole, all the DF plays, DFS, the underdog picks, everything right here. This QR code, and it's free for a week. 7 days free. You can check it all out.